I'm just going. So when we look at Casablanca and Star Wars, we see a very big influence that we can compare and contrast, which led me to the thesis that Casablanca significantly influenced the cinema that went into Star Wars, with setting, villains, and myriad characters, proving its effect upon the intergalactic film. So the first major point we see is indeed the setting. So both of the settings of these movies are very similar. We see that Casablanca takes place in North Africa, and it's very similar architecture to the Star Wars location, Mos Eisley, which also had a very similar terrain to North Africa. But however, they do differ in the fact that Casablanca is the center of the underworld, a place where people go to kind of like escape. We do see people like Ben Kenobi describing Mos Eisley the same way in movies like The New Hope. Rick's Cafe in Casablanca is very right. That's fine. The second major way that we see Casablanca influence Star Wars is when we look and observe the villains. So Casablanca, the semi-villain is Signor Ferrari, the leader of all illegal activity in Casablanca. He's influential and well-respected. So we're not surprised when we see a lot of influence to Jabba the Hutt's character in such a way. Now, while Jabba obviously physically is kind of more disgusting and maybe even worse natured than a Ferrari, he's just as charming, and it's obvious that he takes a lot of different influential places, which you can see when you look at any of the early conceptual versions of Jabba the Hutt. And there's even talks of George Lucas and Steven Spielberg actually talked quite a bit about how Jabba the Hutt was inspired by Signor Ferrari. The last major way we see the influence of Casablanca upon the movie Star Wars is when we look at the two characters of Rick and Han Solo. These are very similar characters, and it's almost as if Han Solo kind of mirrors Rick. Even right down to the moment where you're not quite sure if Rick's going to save anyone or not, we see that parallel with Han Solo. Though Rick owns a bar, he does not own debts. He wants to stay out of the conflict between the two parties that were at war. I would almost say that through the refusal of this kind of adventure and instant drinking, and seeing his better nature, we see eventually see the reveal of his true nature, and that cynicism that actually wasn't truly there, and that being replaced by heroism, which then brings us back to seeing Han Solo in a kind of a similar light with how he was with the canteen, and how he developed as a character into becoming one of these fan favorites. And that's why those are the major ways in which you see Casablanca influence Star Wars. And we see how this movie really, just an example of the effect it had on the film industry and on the movies that were to come after its release.